4 minutes after 6, you're still tuned in to Nationwide at 5. We're turning our attention now to Zed Jamaica's 21st anniversary. Yes, Zed Jamaica is marking its 21st year in business in 2024 this year, and we'll be celebrating by hosting a broadcast on robotics right here on Nationwide at 5. Now, Zed Jamaica is a high-powered interactive creative agency specializing in web-based school information systems and integrating applications that allow schools the ability to increase performance at scale.
That's right. Over the past 21 years, Zed has delivered a wide range of groundbreaking projects, including a partnership with Canadian consultant under CITO and MITEC guidance in delivering the Jamaican Web Standard in 2006, innovative e-learning videos, and captivating animations. They've also created broadcast content for films, and the cutting-edge FACT SIS REN Web school management system. Zed is now looking forward towards the future of Web3, blockchain, AI, and robotics.
Now, Zed will be hosting a robotics summer camp this year. It's a pilot project in partnership with local schools and Canadian and local businesses. Zed says alongside its partners Zebra Robotics, Mars Business Solutions, and Island Fortune, they are committed to delivering an unparalleled experience to their stakeholders. To ensure the success of this endeavor, Zed has initiated a comprehensive marketing and awareness campaign beginning with this broadcast this evening.
Well, to discuss this further, we're being joined by the Managing Director of Zed Jamaica, Carlton Grant, here in studio, who's going to be talking to us more about Zed and their work. We're also being joined on Zoom by the Technical Director for Zed Jamaica, Paul Harris, and Marketing and Sales Manager for Zed Jamaica, Sean Forbes. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to Nationwide at 5. Is that Sean Forbes? No. So that's Paul Harris.
This is Paul, yes.
All right. All right. So, Mr. Grant, let me start with you. So we gave our listeners an overview of what Zed has done. So walk us through now, in as succinctly a way as possible, the history, because 21 years is a long time. Yeah? The history of Zed.
Yep, I'm getting old. No, we started off in 2003 at the Technology Innovation Center.
That's at UTech.
Yes, under their incubation program. And we started off with the idea of video and film, the convergence of video and film itself, because during that time we never have scale in terms of internet connectivity and all of that. So we started off doing more on the multimedia side, but our goal was eventually going to be cloud or into the web, because we felt that was the direction that that history would take us. We started off doing commercials, animation, different web application, websites. We got involved with CITO early 2005, I think, when we were having a discussion on the web standard in Jamaica, and we collaborated then with CITO and our Canadian partners to formulate the web standard and to bring that live to the ministries. So that was the first sort of a project that we went on from there on and did some work with Environmental Foundation of Jamaica in terms of their animation videos that deals with the Duns River Fall, the preservation of the Duns River Fall. So we did a 1-hour video, animated video on that. And going forward, we got involved in e-learning video from there on. We did around 80% of the e-learning videos. That was there. We had to script them, write the whole program, did the whole animation, edit, the whole thing. And we did it on a shoestring budget. Because at the time, I think, to tell you the truth, it was about $150,000 per video. That wasn't a lot. And then we moved from there with the second batch. so that was hard work that we had to put in, and in between that we did a lot of viral ads and different commercials for VMBS and NCB and all those different companies, including Broadcast Corporation. We're the one who developed the ICAT for Broadcasting
Ah,
Corporation.
oh,
So
nice.
from scratch. So we did that, and we moved away from that when website was become more of a cookie cutter, and so you couldn't go out and develop a structural site anymore because you can just spin that up. So we got into SIS at the time,
And for our listeners, what's SIS?
School Information System,
Ah.
and but we were trying to figure out if we should do a server base, which is versus our cloud, and because we project the web, we end up taking the chance and say we're going to do cloud. We're going to get involved with cloud, and we that was when we got involved with Fax SIS, which was back then RenWeb, and it took us 3 years before we could convince anybody that this was the way to go because everybody was saying at the time, 2006, 2007, we don't have proper internet bandwidth. We didn't have this. We didn't have that, and you know.
But you certainly had that vision that that's where it was
Yeah,
going.
we had the vision that this is where it was eventually going to take us, and we stick with it.
Yeah.
And I think our first school was Campion College, and then once we got Campion, a lot of the other schools start seeing the vision and they move on.
Came on board. Let me hear Paul Harris now, because when Sir Grant talks about the cloud, Paul Harris, I have listeners who may be thinking, clouds in the sky? What kind of clouds would this company be involved with? So when we're talking about cloud, what are we talking about?
All right. So when somebody says cloud, in the context of IT, that means that your data resides somewhere on the internet in a secured environment, of course. So cloud simply means that, back in the day when, IT infrastructure was having all of these computer systems at your office or at your location that somebody had to manage and back up and ensure that it is working. So we moved away from that in early 2000. So we took those resources and put that on the internet. So you simply had to just have an internet connection to access your infrastructure. So cloud in a nutshell really just means that all your resources, all your information and data is stored somewhere on a server on the internet. So you can just access it once you have an internet connection.
So explain to us, Paul, this matter of school information systems as it stands today. What is the core of Zed's business in relation to that?
Well, the core of Zed's business is to focus on schools. So schools storing your staff, your students, your classes, your historical data. So you can imagine that's thousands of records when you think of schools that have been in operation for many years,
Centuries in some
and
cases.
man, some of them 200 years. So things like that, and I'm glad you mentioned that because one of our core things that we're looking at right now is the storing of historical data. So schools that have been in operation even before they acquired our system, we're telling them, start to store this data because several schools we've been and papers literally running them out of the office. There's
Yes.
just no more space.
Yes. When I was in high school, I remember going in the office and those stacks of files. Yes. Those yellow file jackets. Yes.
I wonder if anybody ever goes
so
through
you can
them.
imagine when you go back for your transcript, somebody has to go through and
Right.
search deeply for that. So we're trying to get schools to move away from that. So have an IT infrastructure for that kind of thing.
Yeah. Do we have Sean Forbes now?
Yes,
Ye-
I'm
yes.
here.
Okay, great. So Sean, when you make
Uh-huh.
that pitch as the marketing and sales manager, to say, come on, we can give you, the cloud service, we can make your life easier, more efficient, we can put the files out there into the cloud. Do you find that Jamaicans are receptive to that idea, or we're still beholden to the file jacket and the cabinet?
All right, so that is a catch 22 because the younger um, persons are willing to move towards a more modern type storage facility in the cloud,
Yeah.
while the more seniors are a little bit hesitant,
They trust the paper.
Right, because them can reach and pull the
Yes,
paper and
yes,
needs to
yes.
look for it. But I think the fear is with technology, where some of them is not willing to let go of the archaic old way of doing things and move into the new digital dispensation.
And how do you see Zed playing a role in changing that culture? Because the culture has to change. So you all had the vision in early 2000 that this is where the world was gonna go. We are very much along that road. How do we start to bring our fellow Jamaicans along into the new dispensation? Sean?
Well, so first we have to educate them. We have to hold them hand because they have to understand why we need to go this route. So in case, example, illustration of fire. If a fire should happen, God forbid, okay, you're looking at an entire archive of files and folders getting destroyed.
Yes.
While in the cloud now, you look at the different redundancy backup you put in place. So if one site goes down, there's another site available to pull the data from. So we'll have to teach them the pros and cons. We also have to teach them the cost benefit analysis, where if you're spending this large sums of money annually on budget, anywhere from about 4.5, $6 million in printing, paper, servicing the stenographer machine, all these different things. You can reallocate those resources to other needed things that are a pressing need for the school. So we try to show them the cost benefit analysis. We also try to teach them the importance of coming into the digital space.
So do I hear you saying on balance going digital maybe prove cheaper for the schools? We've seen that we've dropped Sean. All right. Yes.
Yes, you're
Oh,
back.
hearing you again, Sean. So I was saying, are you saying on balance going digital may prove cheaper for these schools? No, we've dropped him.
Yes.
Oh.
You hearing me?
Yes,
Yes,
go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, man. Hearing you, Sean. Go ahead.
Right, repeat because repeat the question.
Oh, I was asking if you're saying on balance going digital may prove cheaper for the schools.
Yes, we try to lay out the cost benefit analysis because you will save and that money can be reallocated to other needs, right? So it is a fact that you will save. Once you master the system, you will see the benefit.
Yeah.
So tell me, Mr. Grant, I hear how he has laid out the pitch there, but even in these times where people are sure that digital is the way forward, you still have a lot of resistance. Have you found that to be the case in these school systems as they stand today?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's we're used to 300 years of doing things, and it's not going to change. No. I think once the younger principals come in place, I think there are more to do that. But within the school system, you have the challenges that you have is pretty much you have so many different red tapes. You've got the ministry up here. Then you have the different
board.
regional
Right.
ministries. You have 7 of those.
Right.
That's another layer. And then you have all the school boards. And
Yes.
I'm always perplexed by saying, why does all the schools ask to have boards, each of the schools? It's like, what would happen if Microsoft had a board for each of its outlets, or any larger corporation would have?
So you're thinking some kind of regional structure where a regional board governs a group or cluster of schools?
Yeah, I always think that we need to rethink boards because these are not people who are being paid, and so they have to go out there and work for their living too, and it's hard to focus on all these different dynamics at the same time. And what you need, when we're doing a presentation for a school, we find maybe 99% of the time we do not have the board involvement, and that presentation is in front of teachers and administrators, and they understand and they get the concept. But now they have to take it to a board and sell it to that board, and that's where the issues comes in.
Yeah.
And what Sean said is very true, because we have schools that spend $6 million on paper. But how do you convey that to them that you're spending $6 million on paper? Because it's hard to do that, because again we have separate. We have this idea that we don't. There's no actual person that monitoring what we spend on paper and saying, okay, fine, if we spend 30% less, that can pay for digitizing the entire school
and cloud services
and the cloud services. So it's a challenge that we face. But I mean, the young principal, we've got some schools that understand Southborough.
Right, because I was going to ask you, what are some of the other schools? Because you mentioned Campion College, and that doesn't surprise me, because they have a digital culture.
Yes.
But what are some of the other schools where the uptake has been good, and you see them progressing in the right direction where digital is concerned?
I mean, apart from all the traditional schools like the JC, the Campion, Arden, Alpha, we have most of the traditional schools. We have around 90% of those schools. So they're the ones that are there. But what I think in 2017, we did meet with the Ministry of Education, and we did discuss having the non-traditional school being part of our program of what we're doing. And we went out and gave a better price point for those schools. So we have schools that come on board like.
Oh, so you were willing to work with them on pricing? They were non-traditional.
We did that. So we have schools like Papine High,
right,
which is using the actual or payment portion of the platform, the student billing platform. Excellent. They don't collect funds through the office for, say, CSAT or registration.
Right.
It's all done through our system online, and they pay for it.
So in other words, the sort of, this is my word, it may not be petty cash, but the sort of petty cash that you go to the office to collect, and they put it in the pan. In my tell used to put it in the silver pan.
Right. And then I went to one of our schools yesterday, and it was, there was a lineup from the nursery all the way down. And so it's hard to convince them that, okay, fine, let's digitize all of this. Let's make this go online. But we're trying. But you have, like I said, you have schools that you have some primary schools, like I said, Southborough and Portsmouth.
That's impressive, by the way, and I'm happy to hear that primary schools.
We have some primary schools that's really, and I'm proud of them. We have, like I said, the non-traditional school, Tarrant High. Who else? Edith Dalton.
Yeah.
A lot of schools that have Ose Martin. They're coming along, but
if I could just ask Siobhan, Paul Harris, because you said something that struck me a while ago in terms of the payments, because we know there have been issues in the past about security, about bursars and their ability to access cash, Paul Harris. And that has become a security issue at certain schools. So in terms of the cloud service, you talked about secure data at the top of the conversation. If a school is listening now, Paul Harris, and they think, okay, that sounds like a good idea, but will this make me less susceptible to theft? What would you say to them?
Yeah, for sure. So the first part of that conversation is we are completely removing the cash and the management of cash from the school, and once parents start paying online, for example, or we do have a partnership with Lasco Financial where you may still have parents who want to pay cash,
Right.
so they can go to those branch locations where they handle security. So they move their cash securely. So in terms of the physical security of money, that is already in place. With the digital securing of money, of course, we use a Sagicor payment gateway. So all of the security for your online payments are already built in to those systems. And of course, we don't store credit card information. So you find once you start to do those digital approaches that you essentially start to integrate security in all of that. So the physical security of the cash and the digital security is definitely covered when using our online payment system.
And certainly you have statistics to back up a lot of this, because now that you've had the ball rolling, you've been in quite a few schools. What kind of reduction in terms of cost, improvement in efficiency have you been able to find is gained through using these school information systems?
Oh man, well, if you're talking about efficiency, definitely you are almost virtually eliminating paper, and we know as a highly paper-based society, searching for things or waiting for turnaround times, the use of paper makes these things so long. But once you start to digitize your processes, then you find that if a parent requests something, or they need to see something, they can log into the system and access it, or if they request the school can quickly find it. So you'd find that the turnaround time is far better, and you're highly efficient. So even when COVID struck, our schools could quickly still keep going. It wasn't weird to work off site, or
Yeah.
it wasn't weird to go into a digital space to conduct your classes. So things like that just made them easily adaptable to change.
I heard you say
So
something a while ago that struck me. You said the parents can log on to the system themselves?
yeah, so there's a what we call the family portal side of
Oh.
the system. So parents can log in and see things like attendance, see things that the schools post in terms of announcements,
Oh.
report cards, things like that. So the parents are also integrated into all of this. So the information share is there. And one thing I even want to mention about the payment side of it, my personal experience, when you used to go to the bank, you have to come back to the school
Yes, me
to
used to get
submit
one
your
voucher.
voucher.
I used
Right.
to get a voucher.
Purple
Yes.
voucher.
Yes.
So just thinking about that experience alone, you waste 2 hours in the bank,
Yes.
you waste another hour to go back down to the school, and sometimes it's not even updated in real time to show that you paid.
Right.
So using the payment platform, that is virtually eliminated. Once you pay, the school is notified, you're issued a receipt, and you can log on to your account to say, okay, I owe that, I paid this, and now my balance is zero, or I still have something else outstanding. Everybody can see. So the information share is highly improved,
What a
and
time to
you
be
actually get your
alive.
receipt.
What
What
a
a time
time
to
to
be
be
alive,
alive.
right?
Because I recall I'd have to get my voucher.
Yeah, you got
Then I have
to stand in the bank.
Yes. And then them
Oh
sign it
man.
up and I carry it to the. Okay.
Oh
Interesting.
man, and when COVID hit, imagine that process was just crazy.
Yeah.
You probably spent a whole day just trying to pay school fee,
Right.
and we even share with the schools that, even that process sometimes is just a turn off for parents because you literally don't have the time. So using our payment, system, want to go to Alaska Financial, for example, if you want to pay cash, you can pay on the weekend at your own convenience. You can pay online. If you have somebody overseas who want to, you know, offer the contribution for the student, they can do that. So you actually open up the gateways to collecting more money because you make it easier for persons, and using moral suasion, of course, you're putting it, hey, you can pay a little thing towards a contribution easily by doing this. Sometimes it results in you collecting more money.
And I can see the savings because, again, I keep just referring to my time. I would recall that if there was a general notice the school was sending out, then every single student would get a printed letter
Yes,
That you
sir.
have to bring home to
that you have to bring home.
that somehow the dog
Yes,
eat.
sir.
And
Precisely. If you don't want mommy see it, you tuck it away in the bag. It just stay in the bag.
Exactly.
So you're saying
Yes.
now, once the alert goes out from the school, they log on to the family portal, and mommy and daddy can see the information.
They can see the information. So no more hiding it in the bag or
Yes.
just tucking it away and anything like that. The information is there. So, and even in attendance. And one thing I told a school just the other day, that instead of waiting a whole term to see how your child was performing, you can
Mhm.
get a progress report. So,
Ah,
they did a test last week. You can see why they failed or they're not doing well and engage the teacher instead of waiting till the end of term to see that, they're failing out or they're not performing or even attending school
yes.
by that. So information share actually helps with that process.
So,
Impressive.
so Sean Forbes, what is the engagement process or the engagement relationship? Because certainly you have to, as pointed out by Mr. Grant, you have to touch every level of the school system. You have to talk to the Ministry of Education, you have to talk to the school boards, you have to talk to the regional offices. So how do you engage a school in terms of adopting one of these school information systems?
Okay. So the first thing we do, sometimes we have relationships or we have cold call contacts, right? We will blast out emails. Okay. Once there's a response to any of those communication, we engage them in a discussion and to find out what are their needs, the pain points, and then we do a deep dive into how our system can offer a solution to make their life easy. Moving from that, now we will now engage in a demonstration. What we have found is that people want to hear price, how much your product cost.
Mm.
We're saying to you, listen, it is not always good to just hear a price because you might get turned off. So the example or illustration we use is a car. So you have a Toyota, reliable product, and you have a luxury car, a BMW, okay? Both cars operate the same by getting into the destination, point A to point B.
Right.
We're saying to you that let us show you what the system can do for you first. And once you get a concept and understand what the product can do for you, we talk about price. Okay? That way, you can match the value what you're getting with
To
the
the
price
price.
you're
Yes.
paying.
Yes.
Right? Again, if you need a car to get you to work or to wherever it's convenient and private, certainly you see the value of the car. Despite the car might cost you 25,000 a month, but you still have your own private space and you can get to places easier. The same analogy we try to bring across and to show them the cost benefit analysis. We're saying to you that listen, the price you pay for a slice of bread, that is the same price that can maintain the child on the system for the entire year with all data being stored, security in place, and stuff like that. Okay? And so it is always important to illustrate and to show them the product before they actually get the price. Then they will say, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
The only challenge that we find is that when we're doing the demo, we want everybody to be on board. The chairman of the board, the key players and decision makers in the demo. The reason being because you can't have the principal doing all the work, and when she present it to the board, she gets shut down. This and that too expensive, and that and
Mm.
that and that. So we said no. Try and get one of the key decision maker to hear and see, and then they will be sold. They can ask questions same time to get it resolved before we can move forward. So those are some of the scenarios and analogy and ways we have to communicate to get the product into the school and to move forward. And the next thing we try to do is create a partnership. We're not selling them a product. We're creating a partnership between us and them for them to understand it's a lifelong, partnership, right? We are here for you. We want to support you. We want to enhance your skill set, upsell your skill so that when you move from that school and go abroad, you can say, hey, I was able to use this particular system, I'm versed in it, and then you quickly can get a job in that respect.
Indeed.
So those are some of the scenario and things we use.
Gentlemen, we're up on the break. Listeners, you're listening to a special broadcast marking the 21st year in business of Zed Jamaica. What's Zed Jamaica? It's a high powered interactive creative agency specializing in web based school information systems and integrating applications that allow schools the ability to increase performance at scale. And so far, they've been telling us about ways in which they're transforming operations at schools. We take the break and come back with more.